Hi, I'm Dr. Francis Battisti.
And I'm Dr. Helen Battisti.
And welcome to the second session of The Zone. Today's entitled, Creating the Future We Desire. When we met a few weeks ago, we really talked about where are you right now, where have you been, and what is it that you want to create. And today we're going to review some of what we talked about and then bring in some new information. Because if we want to have a better future, there are things that we can do right now that will really assist us. I want to start off with this very famous poem, The Road Less Traveled. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood. So anyone can get on the internet and say whatever they want to say. Photoshop, remember how exciting Photoshop was? It's already 30 years old. But the meaning of Photoshop is that everything's perfect. We don't have any blemishes. In fact, most pictures that we see in magazines have been so photoshopped, it doesn't even look like the real person if you were to see them. About 60% of 11 to 14-year-olds have cell phones. And then parents, in a lot of ways, rather than teaching they're being supportive of their children and teaching them differences and taking responsibilities, a lot of times they enable their children, giving them all kinds of excuses of why they're not able to do certain things. And then marketing. Marketing is really something that's really changed. And we're going to look at this in a minute and talk about each one of those areas. And it doesn't mean you're totally in one and not in the other. You may still be in a level of fear at one point, but maybe be in a level of learning in something else. So let's just look at this. This right here is the fear zone. This is kind of designed by, when you're hoarding food and paper. Remember, toilet paper, couldn't find anything. In fact, now you go to the grocery store and they're limiting.
I know.
There's a lot. Part of it is the food chain that Helen was talking about from all over the world. We can't get everything. But people are still really collecting a lot of things. So now what I'm going to ask you to do is to kind of step back from the table that you're at, the desk or whatever. You might even want to stretch a little bit. But we're going to ask you a few questions. Here's the questions. How is your world different now than it was 6 months ago? Think about that for a few moments. How is it different? And over the past 6 months, what were or was your greatest accomplishment as it relates to your life's work? And then how are you feeling physically, psychologically, mentally, and spiritually? Now we're going to take a break for a few moments, probably about 10-15 minutes. We'd like you to think about these topics, and we're going to open it up for questions. Thank you. And it's important that we start to realize, where am I in all of this, and what can I do to make significant changes, significant areas that I need to move into? So I would like you to think back over the past few months. And if you would, I'd like you to take a piece of paper and pencil, pen, crayons, and I'd like you to draw a little picture about the past 5 months. Just take a few moments. Just some of the significant things that you've experienced over the past 5 months. Maybe some of these things you've talked to others about. Maybe you haven't talked about it. Maybe you haven't even said it to yourself. What are those significant elements over the past 5 months that you've experienced both in your personal life and your professional life that come to mind? And as you think about those things, think about what's the most significant in them. Why is that on your paper and not something else? Who are the people that are there on the page? What are the events? What are the places? Maybe some of you have emotions there and not at other places. So take that picture, and as we're going through the workshop today, maybe add to it. What are some of the most significant things that happened to you and that you can recall that you've experienced over the past 4 or 5 months?